with the General, Akshita Veda.
Ya Tawalu Kum. Ya Tawalu Kum. Ya Tawalu Kum. Ya Tawalu Kum. Ya Tawalu
Success, abundance, love, freedom, justice, empowerment, power, authority, leadership, poetry. Together we rise. Success, abundance, together we love, rise, freedom, justice, empowerment, power, authority, leadership, poetry. Together we rise. Success, abundance, love, freedom, justice, empowerment, power, authority, leadership, poetry. Together we rise. Success, abundance, love, together we freedom, rise, justice, empowerment, power, authority, leadership, poetry. Greetings, greetings. Hold on. Greetings. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Greetings, 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 and welcome to Together We Rise. With me, Akshita V. I am Lunar Solar Prime 123. I am the General. I am the chosen daughter of the matriarch. Greetings and welcome. I hope you are all doing well, and thank you for being here. Whether you come now or later, just be sweet about it, and that's all we can ask. And so y'all see I'm wearing my pink tonight. I'm representing the pinkies for the pinkies tonight. All right, so it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I'm representing. I wear pink all the time, but I'm wearing pink tonight on purpose. You know what I'm saying? So tonight we're going to be talking about the mastery of energy. And so before I go into that, I wanted to just expound on something for my own knowledge and understanding, and also to bring awareness to the session that we had last night with the Purple Heart Squad. It was a nice turnout for communication, and it was a great time for our brother Lazarus Lamel to come through and give us a lesson and reminding us from the body of manifestation and how we even get into the upgraded body. So there is a process, to get to and through. And so he brought us through that. And what he taught us last night was something new. He asked us, when we speak, I am, what are we really saying? And what is that AM, the am? What is that? And we were stumped on that, and he had to tell us what it was. And so it's amplitude modulation. And so I'm looking it up, and it says amplitude modulation is a communication method that transmits information by varying the amplitude, the strength of a high frequency carrier wave in proportion to the instantaneous value of a low frequency information signal, such as audio. The carrier wave's frequency remains constant while its amplitude carries the message, allowing it to be transmitted over airwaves as through other media. So this communication that we're having is an I am moment. I am amplitude modulation to carry a message of, what it say, success, abundance, love, freedom, justice, empowerment, power, authority, leadership, and poetry, Akshita style poetry, frequency, flow, right through. And so I just wanted to look into that, because it's important to understand when we receive new uploads, we must take those uploads and expound upon them, for our own understanding. And so what I'm understanding is the strength of a high frequency carrier wave in proportion to the instantaneous value of a low frequency information signal. And so we are carrying this message through, that it reaches your heart, that it reaches your mind, that it reaches your soul, and that it gets through your head to your heart and your hands and your feet to get you getting up and moving out in the streets, right? So tonight, we're going to be talking about those steps that you take to mastery of energy, and not just any energy, your energy. And why this is so prevalent to me is because as I'm going through this study, I'm learning so much about me. And so what I'm learning is how everything that I have been speaking on from the beginning to now. Let me see. Did I write them down? I got my first episode here. And the first episode was the introduction into the energy of the 323. And then it was the system is updating. So between those two, I was speaking about the weapons of the Messiah and how we wield those weapons, and not only how we wield them, but how we even get to the point of gaining those weapons to inhabit within self, because those weapons are a representation of who we are. And so as we move through life and as we go through different trials and tribulations, we learn to use these tools as tools, not weapons, but they can be used as weapons in the right time. There's a season for everything, so don't get it twisted. The third episode last week was about establishing emotional intelligence through adversity. So it is through adversity that we are tested the most, when we gain the knowledge of the tool and how to utilize the tool at whatever level we are with it. And so the emotional intelligence comes into play in how we make decisions on the use of the weapons and how to maintain ourselves in the process. So tonight we're going to be talking about the mastery of energy. Welcome. This is Together We Rise with Akshita Veda. L. So once you journey through many forms of adversity with emotional intelligence integrated, the lessons and the use of the weapons of the Messiah, the journey leads you to where we are today, the mastery of energy. In the process of getting through the mastery, we learn how to use sound, frequency, and vibration while wielding the weapons of the Messiah, right? The first thing is to have resonance with self. After adversity, I like to say this is like wrestling with God, you know. You're no longer numb. You can feel again. So, excuse me. I was having a conversation today, and I was like, when you get to that point of surrender, and you are in a position where you're disciplining yourself and being obedient to the message from the Almighty in this walk, with whatever direction you choose to go, that's on you. I'm not here to judge. I just know my journey, right? In these moments, you have to come to a point to where you wrestle with God, and that's when we are trying to have control, where we need to release and let God, let go and let God, right? And you realize that you've been numb to a lot of things that you haven't been paying attention to, because it was like you had scales over your eyes. And what we can't see, we can't resonate with, right? So this first step being to have resonance with self, we have to look in the mirror and be able to face that person, that reflection that we see coming back, right? So I like to say it's wrestling with God. After adversity, you begin to feel again. And so sound and vibration becomes tools to tune the body and the mind, right? This brings alignment between the heart, your breath, and the nervous system. And so we spoke about the staff being the nervous system. The staff does not rush the journey, for every step must be taken with intention. So when you are chanting, when you're listening to music and you're chanting, chant with intention. When you're humming, hum with intention. The humming is the vibration, the chanting is the frequency. Listening to different frequencies like the 432 hertz and 528 hertz are healing frequencies. And it can be embedded into music to where it's not, just like the music we're listening to in the background here, high frequency tones that heal the nervous system and bring our breath and heart together, our breathing and our heart rate and things. I remember when I started to experience high blood pressure, and my heart rate was at a resting pace, 140 beats per minute. I was at a doctor's appointment, and my doctor was like, that's not normal. She took my heart rate several times, and she was like, we need to go do something. We need to check this out. and do something, find out what's going on. So I went through a period. I had to wear a heart monitor and all these different tests and things like that to see what was going on with my heart. But like I said, I had chemo once before, and I was going through the aftermath. See, this is what people don't talk about. When you talk about chemotherapy and treatments and things like that, we don't really talk about the aftermath. The aftermath is when I started to experience most of my ailments from the treatment. This had nothing to do with a tumor or anything like that. This was from the treatment. So whenever I make a decision, I'm making a decision that is based off of my experience, study, and research, right? And so I would listen to greetings to all coming on, Kum, Ucha to the tribe. I was I would turn whenever, so I would be in moments where my heart rate would just begin to race, and it was all anxiety. Like at one time I couldn't even be in a building with loud music was playing, because I could, my anxiety would take over. My heart rate would just accelerate, and it would be so scary because it was pumping so hard I could literally feel it in my throat, like it was, my heart was beating through my chest. And I would turn on these frequencies and sounds to calm myself, to heal my body. And I would just relax. And in the time that I'm listening to this music, I would close my eyes and I would just focus on my breathing. Now, when I couldn't settle myself that way, then I knew it was time for me to go and get further assistance. So nonetheless, I just wanted to say, through my experience, listening to different sounds and frequencies has also been a healing mechanism for me as I have gone through different experiences. So the nervous system is our wiring, the staff. He who walks without a staff will stumble, but he who leans on it too much will never learn to stand. So you can't use your staff as a crutch. The staff is not just for the one who holds it, but for those who will follow the footprints it leaves behind. See, I got a staff right there. I got to see both of them. That's my first staff, and that's my second one. That's my tall one. That's my short one. And so about a year ago, this time, I found out that I had a bulging disc, my L5, and I could not, I was to the point I couldn't even dress myself. I had to get my daughters to help me get dressed. And that was one of the times that I felt the weakest. You know, it was crazy because it don't even seem like I went through that just a year ago, but I did. And so I had to walk with my staffs there. And so the staff in the hands of the wise becomes a bridge, but in the hands of the foolish, it becomes a weapon. Now, what I'm reading from and what I'm talking about here is Master Key Application 323 Codex 22 through 25 is what I was just referring to. But according to Master Key Application 323 Codex 1247, the staff is the nervous system, the conduit of all signals, the current that stabilizes the body in motion. The current that stabilizes the body in motion. This is what the nervous system is. So I was like, okay, so we're going to be talking about the nervous system. We need to understand what the nervous system is. Now, the first time I became interested in the nervous system was at an occupational therapy appointment with my daughter, Mariah. And there was a pyramid of the central nervous system and how how it had everything to do with regulating emotions and mental processing. And these, are this is the central location of issue when children are dealing with autism and ADHD, anything on the spectrum, right? But my daughter specifically is autistic. I have a daughter who is autistic, and so I don't really know how to say it all the time because she's 12 now, and she was just diagnosed last year when she was 11. And so I homeschooled from 2018 to 2024, 23, mid 23, at the end, like mid school year. And so she was diagnosed last year, though. So it took them from like half the school year to get her through the process of testing and in school. And so by the turn of the year, she was enrolled. And so I homeschooled her. I taught her how to speak. I also homeschooled my eldest daughter. So when I enrolled them, I took them out of first grade and fourth grade. When I enrolled them back into school, my oldest went into the ninth grade and she's excelling. And my youngest went into the fourth grade and she's now in the sixth grade and she is excelling. So when I thought I was not capable, when I thought I didn't know enough, it turns out that I did a very good job. And their teachers are always telling me just how good of a job I did. And it just warms my heart because I went through a rough time coming around with the homeschooling. So I didn't know what I was dealing with is the whole point. I didn't have a name to call it. I just dealt with it with love. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where I became interested in the central nervous system. But since we're talking about the staff tonight with the nervous system, which is our inner wiring, I thought it would be nice to just talk about it a little bit. So this is our body's network. Our communication network. And there are two major branches to consider when dealing with emotional intelligence and adversity. You have the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system is the fight, flight, or freeze response. It is activated by stress or danger. Adversity will keep this system overactive, leaving people anxious, hypervigilant, and exhausted. While on the other hand, the parasympathetic nervous system is the rest, digest, and heal response. This is where calm, repair, and emotional regulation happen. Practices like deep breathing, meditation, prayer, or sound healing stimulates this system. And so these two systems together, see, this is the nervous system here and all the different, here's the sympathetic and the parasympathetic, and together they create, along with this here, but we're not talking about that, we just focus on here, the autonomic nervous system is what these two create together, form together. And so this system works outside of conscious control. So you cannot say anything to change the reaction that you have in your autonomic system. This is an automatic thing that happens in the body based on the experience at the time. So either you're in a fight, flight, or freeze response, or you're in a rest, digest, and heal response. And it's all about where you choose. So you have the power to choose, and you have the authority to say what you will allow in your life. So once the autonomic system is activated by either the parasympathetic or the sympathetic nervous system, in adversity during trauma or prolonged stress, the sympathetic system dominates. The body will remain in survival mode. How many people do we see operating in survival mode? There is a difference between survival and thriving. Emotional intelligence is awareness of self. When you're in survival mode, your muscles may tend to tighten up, your heart races, your digestion slows down, and your sleep is interrupted. So like I was saying, I was having issues with my heart racing. Not one time did I think I'm in survival mode, that's why this is happening to me. I didn't think about that. It didn't even register to me that that's what I was dealing with, was a high level of survival, fighting for my life. I'm in the fight of my life, for life. You know what I'm saying? We all are, but I can't tell your story. I can only tell mine. And so this can wear on the body when you're in a survival mode all the time. It wears and tears on the body, leading to both emotional and physical illnesses. And that's what I like to think, the situation that occurred during the time that the cancer came back to me. I was healing. I was better than I had been. I was getting comfortable with being better. And then that happened. I got that diagnosis again. And so many people would be like, I don't know how you take it the way you do and how you doing it the way you're doing it. But you know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't focus on that is going to cause me stress. I focus on that is going to give me rest. And I like to say all the time, when we rest, this is when God can do his best. You know what I'm saying? We be too busy trying to be in control of something rather than to submit and let go. We like to take it and put it down and pick it back up and say, I got it. I'm going to do something with this. But I'm tired of doing that. So, be proactive and not reactive. When you practice awareness of your feelings, breathe through difficult moments, or respond with compassion instead of reactivity. It's like I'm saying, have compassion for yourself, with yourself. So often we give people so much compassion, but then we'll sit and we are worst critics. Can't nobody be more of a critic to me than I can be to me. When I look at myself in the mirror, I can tell myself nice and beautiful things. Or I can tear myself up. I used to tear myself up. Oh, I couldn't stand in front of a mirror without tearing me up. I had to. I had to get me every time. So when I stopped doing that, when I started looking in the mirror and seeing the beauty that was in me, where I didn't need no validation from not no other person. That was all the validation I needed, was to know that I was worthy. I am worthy. I am the amplitude modulation of everything, every frequency, every sound, every vibration that comes from me. We are to use what we have, our gifts, our talents. And we must have compassion with ourselves in that, because I'm sensitive about my work. Every word that comes out of my mouth is poetry to me. So I'm showing more compassion to me. As I give compassion to other people, I see that I am worthy of compassion as well. And it's a beautiful thing. So we have to retrain our nervous system. The pause activates the parasympathetic system, teaching the body that it is safe to relax and heal. So when you take a moment and you pause and you breathe and you release the negativity and you breathe in the positivity and you just allow yourself to be free, relax your muscles. God, at least smile sometime. You know, you be holding your face so tight, you use more muscles to frown than you do to smile. Like, how hard is it really to smile? I walk past people all the time, and my daughter, I know I get on her nerves. My oldest, Aisha, be like, Mama, you can't expect everybody to look at you and speak and say, hey. I'll be like, well, I'm different. I'm from the country, and we speak to people. You don't look in nobody's face, because if you looking at my face and you ain't being nice to me, you got a problem with me, and I want to know what that problem is. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I am, and I used to be worse. I used to really care, but I don't really care if people don't speak to me today. But I feel like this, in a community, when you're neighboring with people and you see the same people all the time, and they look at you until they get to you, and then they look away from you as if you're invisible and they don't speak. I'm like, that's just crazy to me. So anyway, we want to be proactive and not reactive. And so doing these things is the process of retraining our nervous system. It is emotional intelligence which strengthens the pause between the stimulus and the reaction. And this pause activates the parasympathetic system, which is teaching the body that it is safe to relax and heal.
We rise with the
It's
general.
okay.
Akshita Veda. You are now watching Together. We rise with the general. Akshita Veda.
Ya Dawalu Kum. Ya Dawalu Kum. Ya Dawalu Kum. Ya Dawalu Kum. Ya Dawalu Kum.
Success, abundance, love, freedom, justice, empowerment, power, authority, leadership, poetry. Together we rise. Success, abundance, together we love, rise, freedom, justice, empowerment, power, authority, leadership, poetry. Together we rise. Shout out to Lazarus Lamel for for the music. So we're going back to sound, frequency, and vibration. We should remain in sound, frequency, and vibration.
Abundance.
I remember
Love. Freedom.
when I realized that I had stopped listening to music and what that was doing to me. It left me feeling like I wasn't in the world, like I wasn't existing, like I was just fading away into the abyss.
We rise.
So humming, chanting, and slow rhythmic music stimulates the vagus nerve.
Freedom. Rise. Justice.
I was like, the vagus nerve.
Power. Authority.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, huh?
Poetry.
Well, what happens when music stimulates the vagus nerve? The vagus nerve is a key pathway of the parasympathetic system. So this is the system of rest, rest, digest, and heal response, right? Vibrations calm the heart, slows the breathing, and restores balance. Whew. Sound is felt through frequency by the nervous system as safety and regulation. Adversity may throw the nervous system out of whack. So the key pathway to rest, digest, and heal is the parasympathetic system. And vibration to calm the heart, slow the breathing, and restore balance is the vagus nerve. See, we're made up of so many different parts, and everything matters because it affects us, and the way we respond to things, our perspective of things, our angle of things, our vantage point of things change the wiring of our system and how our body out of consciousness responds. And so adversity may throw the system out of whack, but emotional intelligence teaches you to recognize the dissonance.
Justice. Empowerment.
Sound and vibration help you to bring it back into harmony.
Leadership.
And that's what we're missing, is harmony.
Together we rise.
You can have people singing together
Success.
and there's no harmony. Everybody's singing,
Love. Rise.
but there's no harmony.
Justice.
And that harmony is the lack of unity of voices.
Power.
We have to consider other voices when we're singing together
Poetry.
to create the harmony. You have to respect my sound as I respect your sound, and we bring those sounds together in harmony. But some people make it hard. To be in harmony. But before we even, come into harmony with anyone else, we have to come into harmony with self. And so CEL
Freedom.
pH, like your pH balance,
Empowerment.
cell with self.
Authority.
Okay, so your cell is the cell, which is reflection, the record keeper. And so I was like, this is so close to
Success. Abundance.
the cell of the body.
Together.
So
Freedom. Rise.
if we take a look into self, this is the subconscious mind,
Power.
the deep storage that retains every frequency you've ever emitted
Poetry.
or absorbed. Just like our cells Our cells are manipulated by what we eat, what we listen to, what we touch, all the senses, everything that our senses, all the signals that our senses pick up is how our cells adapt within the body, which is why stress can create illness in the body rather than health and wellness in the body. So if we can create sickness in our body, then we can create healing in our body. And this is where I'm at with me. We can speak life as we can speak death, because the power of life and death is in the tongue. Reflection is not just a memory. Reflection is the energetic ledger of your becoming. So our cells, we first started out as a cell, right? Molecule or whatever, and then it grew into what matters in this form of a body.
Together, we rise with the general. Akshita Veda.
So our cells are the reflection, or we are a reflection of our cells. And our cells are adapting and manipulated based on how we are responding throughout our nervous system, which is our wiring system.
Empowerment. Power.
So the engine of consciousness is formed
Leadership.
by
Poetry.
shell, male,
Together.
cow, and cell.
Rise.
Now it's so funny because the presentation that Lazarus did last night touched on all of these, and I was not ready. I was not expecting that, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna pull some good stuff out the book. And then Mother Oracle come on this morning, and she busting it down with the cell, the cell, the male and cow, and all of that. But I really wanted to just focus on cell, because I'm talking about the cells and within the body, but it all matters. So the shell is the observer, the male is the thought, the cow is the will, and the cell is the reflection. These four, they don't compete. They orbit each other like satellites around your spirit, right? So I thought about that, and I was like, when we're all in our proper position, when we're all where we're supposed to be, doing what we're supposed to be doing, we don't have time to compete with anybody else. I can't compete with you when I'm over here in my position doing what I'm supposed to be doing for the purpose that I'm here for, the reason I'm here for, what I'm here to do. I can't compete with you, because your mission is different than mine. What I look like worrying about what you got going on, unless we're supposed to be working together and you're not doing your part. You trying to do everybody else's part but yours. You know what I'm saying? And I heard Oracle Mother talking about this now, when it comes to the female Messiah. And she's done a nice job at breaking down this content and information and the qualities and characteristics of each one. Let's see, you got the daughter, the sister, the mother, the wife, and the widow. I don't know if I said those in order, but that's the gist of it. There's 5 positions. And so the body is 5. You got the head, the legs, and arms. Allah. Arm, leg, arm, head, right? And so you got shell, the observer. Male is the thought. Cow is the will. And cell is the reflection. And so, like I said, they don't compete, they orbit around each other like satellites. And if we were in our proper position, we would be orbiting around one another like satellites. Satellites, they feed off of one another. The information is from one satellite to the next, and it bounces off a reflection of information. And so, if we're all in our position and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, then we should be reflecting from one satellite to the next. Satellites, that's what we are. And satellites is how we should be operating. When these four are aligned, they create resonance, which is the first step of the mastery into your energy, is to resonate with yourself, right? And so resonance is the quality and sound of being deep, full, and reverberating, or like in physics, is the reinforcement or prolongation of sound by reflection from a surface of, or by the synchronous vibration of a neighboring object. So like I said, the satellites are supposed to be bouncing reflections off of one another. When people say you're beautiful, or that was nice, I love this and I like that, thank you, and I say, because we are reflections of one another. You cannot see in me what you do not see in yourself. I cannot see in you what I do not see in myself. So if you see me as beautiful, then you should see yourself as beautiful. If you see me as unattractive and unappealing, you should see yourself as unattractive and unappealing. People have all their opinions and they think it matters in your life, but really what you're doing is telling on yourself. You're telling me who you are, because I never said that. You said it. It came out of your mouth. You looked at me and saw something and said something that I did not say. And if I allow anyone else to project those thoughts and emotions upon me, then I guess I deserve what it is that I get behind that. But we have to resonate with self, and that is the whole point. You can't elevate into energy, into the proper mastery of energy for you, until you resonate with you. We're so busy looking at this and that and these standards that have been created off of falsehood. When these four are disconnected, they create static. Don't start nothing, it won't be nothing, right? So like I said, it was a time where people would pass me and I would be like, well, they pass and they should be speaking. Well, you can't expect everyone to speak, but in my mind, if we're not resonating with one another, then we are in disconnection with one another, and there is a static there. The frequency is off, the vibe is off. Like, oh, you can feel it when you walk into a room, like, oh, it's a good vibe up in here. Yeah, I have fun up in here. Then you walk into a place where you're like, turn around, get up in here. I ain't spending my money up in here. You know what I'm saying? So that static is created. And so it's stated that most people live with only 2 functions online. So out of those functions of shell, male, cow, and cell, most people are only operating out of 2, not all 4. So this is what is caused the repeated experiences of things that no longer serve you. So when you see yourself going in patterns of cycles that you don't want to be in, but you're not willing to do the change that it takes to get you out of that, then you're going to keep on getting the same thing. You're going to keep repeating it because evidently you didn't get the lesson. So how many times you got to take a test when you don't pass it? They usually don't give you too many opportunities to retake a test once you have failed it. But what I'm saying here is you can take a test that you're paying for over and over again until you get it. Take it as many times as you want to, but you got to pay for it every single time. So is the same way. You got to pay for everything with time, with energy, whatever you looking, whatever you striving for, you got to pay for it. Ain't nothing in life for free. And your time is the most valuable thing that you have. So this right here, what I said is the record keeper. The cell is the record keeper. It records everything. Every reflection is recorded within the cell. And so if you're tired of doing things on repeat, it's time to do something different. Greetings, Thea. It's time to do something different. You know, we can't keep doing the same thing expecting different results. And so these are processes running within the divine system you call self. This is the square within the circle, the key geometry of the soul. The square represents the stability, which is a righteous foundation. And the circle is the eternal flow of life. One anchors and the other moves. So that's like when you get into the prayer posture and you're on your 4s, and then you come down with your 3. Together they form the sacred blueprint of awakened embodiment. We're not made to live under the law of chaos, yet there's so much chaos going on. But that internal chaos is a personal or private issue that becomes a private problem that becomes a public issue. Because when we go out into the world and we're bringing that negativity and that ugliness from the inside, it affects those that are around us because of the energy, the frequency, the vibration. So we have to be cautious to what it is that we're putting out. And when people respond a certain way, either they're in the opposite frequency of you or vibrations of you. So the law must be encoded in clarity. This clarity is spelled out in the memorandum of the 131 memorandum. The 1 through 31 teaches and shares that each one is a frequency. The number 1 through 31, each one of these numbers is a frequency. Excuse me. Okay? Each frequency is a file, and each file must be read, lived, and integrated. This is why we exist, to write the story. There are no shortcuts, just signals. So to save others, we must first save ourselves. And that is exactly what a Messiah is. A leader or savior to a particular group. But it starts within. You cannot lead anyone anywhere and you're lost. We must be found within self, to resonate within self. So when you activate within the Messiah code, you exit the loop of repetition. We move forward with boots on ground. This is our greater design. This is the hammer energy. You become the master builder of self. The hammer. That was the seventh weapon. The hammer is a force of transformation, the tool that both destroys and rebuilds, shaping the future with each strike. The world was built on weak foundations. Lies stacked upon lies, only the hammer can break through what should never have been or never stood. A structure left to rot cannot be restored with decoration. It must be broken down and reforged in truth. He who lifts the hammer must be prepared to finish what he has started. For a house half built is worse than ruins. The hammer does not move without purpose, for every strike has an outcome: destruction or creation, collapse or elevation. He who fears the weapon, the hammer, fears change, for it will not allow falsehood to remain standing. The hammer is not for the timid, nor for those who hesitate. When it falls, it must do so with certainty. So when you're in the hammer energy, you about that business. It ain't no play once you get to the hammer energy, because you done already came through the laser, the sword, the bow, the arrow, the staff, and the rod. And all these things are within us. So we have to have the power, we have to have the mindset to want to change. We must want to we got to be the change that we want to see. Okay? We can't keep expecting people. There was a time where I pointed the finger, and then I realized all these fingers pointing back at me. You know what I'm saying? So that means I was more of the blame for anything that I was going through than anyone else, because I had to realize it was what I was allowing. So if it was happening to me, I was putting myself in a position to allow this to be taking place in my life, because I didn't choose to change. But when I did take a step and to say, hey, I'm not going to deal with this, I'm moving out of this, I'm going and doing something, I don't care how hard it get, I don't care how crazy I look, I don't have to deal with this. And I know that I have the power to change my mind. I've always had this energy of knowing that I had the power to change my mind. And you want to know something? I thank my father. I absolutely do. He was rough on me. And because he was rough on me, I like to say this: no man has ever been able to put his hands on me, because he taught me well. And he taught me not to get in those vulnerable positions. You understand what I'm saying? And so I'm grateful that he did what he did and the way he did it. So the Messiah does not use the hammer for personal gain, but for purpose, ensuring that every strike serves the greater design. The hammer does not hesitate, nor does it waver. What it touches, it changes forever. A foundation must be tested before it can be trusted. Only the hammer reveals what is truly unbreakable. Ooh, I know that's right. And so the one who lifts the hammer must be willing to bear its weight, for transformation is not light work. It ain't no light work. This is heavy duty. At this point right here, you breaking away everything that no longer serves you and saying, I'm going to reforge this and build it back up into a greater design. And it starts with the mind. So what starts in your mind affects your heart. And when your heart is infected, then it activates the motion of your feet and your hands to go and do and be. The hammer does not exist to destroy alone, but to prepare the way for something greater. To prepare the way for something greater. He who wields the hammer is a builder of worlds. For every strike is a mark upon time itself. And we're talking about keeping time, right? Recording time, being the record keeper, writing the story, taking control of the narrative. People can say whatever they want to say about you. Is it true? Is that the example that you put now? Or is that just what they said? See, I love when people lie on me. I love it when people make up stories. And then people start to look like, that's not what was said about it. Well, then, either I'm a great pretender or that person you heard that lie from is a great liar. And it's funny to me. Because why? So all I know is to be me. To swing the hammer is to declare that the old world is finished and the new one is being forged. A tool in the hands of the unworthy is chaos, but in the hands of enlightened, it is creation. The hammer is the weight of responsibility, for no one wields it without shaping history. Write your story. Break away all those things that have held you back from success. Break away all those things that have held you in captivity in your own mind. You are free. Freedom is yours. Justice is yours when you stand up and speak for yourself. You can't expect people to come and speak for you because they're not going to tell the story right. Only you can tell your story. He who builds without the hammer builds without strength, and for that only that which has been tested can endure. The hammer is heavy, but only for those who resist its purpose. So when you are using the hammer, and the purpose of the hammer is lightweight, but when you're using it in the wrong way, it's a heavy weight. For those who accept its weight, finds they can lift the world. The Messiah does not fear destruction, for he knows the false must fall before the true can rise, and that is true. The hammer is not for show, nor for empty threats. It is the final word, the undeniable force that shapes everything in its path. The hammer is raised, the weak structures collapse, and only the unshakable remains. The unshakable. This is the way of the Messiah. The time for talking is over. The hammer has fallen, and the rebuilding has begun. So it is time to continue to build yourself in the mastery of energy as we move through life operating in intellectual intelligence, emotional intelligence through adversity, using the weapons of the Messiah, the rod, the staff, the arrow, the bow, the sword, the laser, and the hammer for the greater design. And that greater design is to be the best version of you that you can be. So, going back to Cell, the reflection. Cell is the record keeper, the subconscious mind. So like I said before, Harukment, movement, the moment you think you've arrived at the beginning, you've already completed something. Life is a loop of continuums, cycles feeding cycles. What people call spiritual awakening is just the system rebooting. This is the 131 memorandum. A command was entered long ago, and now your soul is responding to it. This is not new. It's a memory resurfacing. So when we begin to come into our awakened self, we begin to have these flashes of who we used to be, the messages that we left for ourselves when we came into this body to remember who we are. The objective is to remember, to bring back together what has been broken apart and separated, right? We're like pieces of a puzzle. And we must be remembered. We must remember. And when we remember, we come together, we bring things together, we unite, right? Once we put our pieces together, we become one big piece to the master piece. The Messiah is not a figure to worship, but a principle to awaken. It is the intelligent design within, the divine function that runs in the background of your being, waiting for full access. You are not broken, you are layered. The pain, the doubts, the emotional debris, these are corrupted files from a compromised program. Healing is simply debugging the system. Now, it makes it sound so easy and so simple, but that's really the gist of it. If you can look at your computer system and you know how to manage your CP, then you should know how to manage you in the same way. Because everything that we're using in technology was based off of our makeup, who we are, the way the brain works, the way the nervous system works. You know what I'm saying? Everything from the lymph nodes, the nodes in the body, these are energy points in the body. And we must be connecting electronically to this universe that we're in. We have electrolytes. The body requires electrolytes for different functions in the body to even work properly. Now, I did studies on electrolytes and, things like that, and what foods to eat. We must eat electric foods, foods that bring us alive. This is why this October raw fast is so prevalent right now at this time, because it's a reset of the system, putting in foods that are alive to feed this living vessel that we are in. We've gotten so accustomed to fast and convenient and eating things that have no life in it because it's fast and it's convenient. But when we really truly buckle down and just take the time to prepare, even the salad, that takes preparation, cutting up things, putting everything together. That's a whole thing. Take time. So you got to be willing to give the time that it takes to prepare what you need for your body to heal. And we at the point of healing. Every experience is a file. Some are compressed, some are encrypted, some you've deleted but didn't fully erase. The Messiah Code walks you back through the archives so you can choose what stays and what gets rewritten. So the choice is yours. The Messiah Code is not a religion. It is a method of rebooting the system. It's a hand manual of like a standard operating procedure, of how to get rid of those things that are no longer serving you, and then to upload with information that is going to help you to battle, because the battlefield is really in the mind. And we know that we must transform our mind and not be conformed by the world, but yet we're so caught up in the world. And so the Messiah Code takes us out of that cube of the world, the matrix, where we begin to operate in our purpose, walking the path of righteousness. And so this isn't anything to fear. This is something to lean into, say, hey, okay, wait a minute now, something here. Mortality is the spiritual equivalent of system logic. Without structure, the code collapses. Righteousness is not a rule book. It's how you align your internal network to transmit clean data. You're getting rid of all the nasty stuff. When you do a detox of your body, you want to get rid of all the nasty stuff. You want to get it out of your system. You want your digestive system to work properly. But when you're in an extreme amount of stress and your body is in survival mode, your digestion doesn't even work the same. Your cortisol goes up. Human growth hormone is out of whack. And all these things contribute to sickness and illness in the body. And then it blocks the flow of your lymphatic system. So we want to transmit clean data. So we must put clean things in. That's what we're listening to, what we're watching, what we're touching, what we're experiencing. What is our experience bringing to our life? How is our environment? How are our cells adapting to the environment that we are creating? The homeostasis of our inside. You know what I'm saying? That matters. And so emotions are signals. Guilt is a firewall. Forgiveness is a reset. Love is an open channel. When your system is out of sync, your feelings will hurt you. Listen, don't suppress them, and decode it. I remember when I began to decode my emotions. I have been diagnosed with PTSD. I've dealt with a lot of these things. And so anxiety was big. I dealt with social anxiety. I could not be around large groups of people. It would just drive me insane, crazy. I would have to get out of there. There was no way I was standing in a crowd of people. You know what I'm saying? So I have overcome these things. I couldn't even take my daughters to the playground. They wanted to go and play at the playground, but I was so comfortable keeping us in the house. And so we have come a long way. You know what I'm saying? And my daughters are still adapting and adjusting to not having to be in the house all the time. And then they're becoming, more socially inclined to be around other people, having friends and things like this. And it's not that I wanted to shelter them. Ultimately, it's what I did, but that wasn't what my plan was. My plan was to remove them from the world so I could teach them who they were, so they would be confident as they walked in this world as who they are, not having to explain themselves to anyone based on someone else's standard or idea of who they thought they should be. And so when I felt that they had got it, to the point, and then and now my youngest daughter, if you didn't know, for first 4 years of her life she was nonverbal, so we became telepathically inclined. People be like, that ain't real. No, yes, it really is. Me and my daughters are telepathically inclined. I know when something isn't right with them, and I always seem to show up at the right time. And so no one can convince me of that against anything that I'm saying right now, because these are practices that we have been practicing for years now. This is how we not became, this is how I know we are the 369 Mafia, based on our life path numbers. And so before I even knew what 369 represented and all that, before it was even a big thing, nobody was talking about 369 this and now that the 369, not in my world. So then once I opened myself up to it, I started seeing different things that were confirming the information that I had already discovered upon my own study and research. And so it's nothing better than being receiving confirmation when you have received a message from higher self within. So prayer is a wireless communication. Meditation is system maintenance. Fasting is data purge. The ritual of the past were always versions of spiritual technology, but we lost the interface language. So 1 through 31 are not just steps. They are the command line interface. Each one runs a unique process, unlocking deeper consciousness if you execute them with intention and awareness. The outer world is the projection screen. If your internal programming is fear-based, you will encounter distorted versions of reality. Reprogram the code and the external world updates to match it. Right. So faith is not belief. It is a functionality. It's when the internal system moves forward without external proof. If it's running an unseen operation with the confidence that the results are guaranteed. It is running an unseen operation with confidence that the result is guaranteed. That's good. Everything you judge in others is a part of you under review. Now, didn't I just say that? The reflection, what you see in someone or what someone sees in you is what they see in themselves. So everything you judge in others is a part of you under review. So when you sit in the seat of judgment, you got to take a minute and analyze yourself and the work that you need to do on you. And then I started noticing that when I stopped trying to like, you need to fix this about you. You need to fix that about you. No. I started learning that I had to start looking on the inside. I had to start fixing me. And once I started to, reboot my system and upload new data and information into my system, it was a revelation of what I needed the most. Stop looking outside of self and look inside of self. The healing is within, not without. And so the Messiah Code reflects back what hasn't been processed. So going through the 131 is through the Messiah Code. Each file you open is going to reflect back what hasn't been processed. So if you don't recognize it, you haven't processed it. If it don't seem familiar and you don't understand it, it's not processing. Everyone you meet is another version of your own interface. We think we're so different, but we're really not. Each cell in our body is its own cell, but it's of the same thing. So if we can see the body that way, why can't we see ourselves that way? That we're each a cell of our own, a vessel of our own, but we're of the same thing, and we all matter. This is not a doctrine. This is a diagnostic. You are not here to follow rules. You are here to recover your original settings, restore divine memory, and re-enter the world as the activated version of yourself. Now, how wonderful is that? To enter the world, re-enter the world. So we remove ourselves from the world, being transformed in the mind. And then we get rid of all the debris, all those things that no longer serve us, and rebuild ourselves into our greater design, to the best version of self, to re-enter the world as an activated version, an upgraded version of yourself. Now that's mastering energy. We want to heal through vibration. Every cell in the body responds to vibration. Music and dance. Using dance and movements to shift energy around the body. I like to dance. I like to move. And usually when I'm in a situation to where I'm feeling like, okay, this is getting too much or too heavy, I don't know what to do with this energy, I'll get up and start dancing. So you may see on my Facebook page, I got reels dancing and doing all kind of silly stuff. What may look silly to you, it's, to me, using music and dance to move energy around so it doesn't stay stagnated within my body. So then whatever that stressor was, it's like that's my form of battle. And anyone who's known me long enough, if I'm going through something and I say, hey, this is what I'm going through, just, I might be moving a little fast, so pay attention to, try to keep up with me. That's when and then I come through after I've been out, not feeling good, and then I come back and I'm dancing. This is me showing you that I'm not going to allow whatever this situation, whatever this circumstance, to defeat me. That I am taking control. That I am mastering my energy rather than allowing this thing to master me. I am the master of my energy. And so that's how I use dance. And I remember, the way I dance, I do a lot of hip movements. And I've received a lot of, negative responses. And I'm not that provocative with my dance now. Come on, let's be serious. But people have, made it seem as though I'm being too provocative, or it's not appealing as a woman to, be dancing on the internet and stuff like that. But why not? When it's healing me, it is a form of exercise. I would rather be loose than stiff. You know what I'm saying? And so, if I say some of the things that be in my head about why people got a problem with it, I don't know. It might be comical. It might not be, but it's comical to me. And if we want to keep it real and just go ahead and speak truth to power, if you moved your hips a little bit more, you would have less problems with your man or your woman. You know what I'm saying? Whoever your partner is, you may have their attention a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? And they wouldn't seek that type of appeal from anyone else because you would be giving them that appeal. And I think that that's a healthy thing when you have a healthy relationship with your partner in that manner where you're not afraid to move and just move. And so practice hip motion, because that's where, like I said, when you're working on aligning your chakras and you're dealing with the root, you're going to have a lot of pain in your hips. You're going to have a lot of stress in your hips. That's why most women get big around their waist side, their hips and things, because they're carrying a lot of that stress. The cortisol is what's piling up on us. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to learn how to move that around and not be afraid to wind our hips and keep our bodies in motion. There's nothing wrong with it. It's actually very healthy, and it's and it makes your back feel better. You know what I'm saying? It makes your legs feel better, your knees. It's just an overall good thing. So I like to see the women who do these tutorials on how to open up the hips and how to do the different hip motions and things like that. So don't judge it, do it. I don't want no attention from nobody that ain't mine, and that's what I think is important to note as I'm about to close out tonight. I do want to leave with some encouraging words. You know, I just wanted to speak a moment on what music and dance is for me and how I use it in the process of healing myself. So some words of encouragement. Always remember that every step you take, no matter how small, is progress. Dancing and movement are such beautiful forms of self-expression, and every practice session brings you closer to your goals. Keep embracing the joy and the passion, and trust that your dedication will shine through. You got this. And also, I do want to read from Letters to My Sisters, You Are Beautiful, A Spiritual Reflective Guide for Growth by Margaret Rose Hart. I know, can't see me. I have to post pictures of it. But I turned to this page and I said, okay, that sounds good. I'm going to read this one tonight on page 70, Spiritual Refreshment, because we are talking about mastering energy, and all of this is within a spiritual nature. So greetings, sisters. In the name of Jesus, every time I write a letter, I think that letter I'm writing will be my last letter. But God gently showers me with his love and presence and sits me down. I then open my Bible and find the words of his heart for me to write to you. This morning, I was excited about drinking my 2 cups of coffee. I enjoyed each cup till the last drop, but I was also thirsty this morning for God. I needed God to spiritually refresh me and endow me with the splendor of his love. God has given us spiritual refreshment to drink when we are thirsty, for he has endowed us with his majesty. I am reminded of the hymnal, Praise God from all whom blessings flow, from whom all blessings flow. The hymn shares, praise him, all creatures heard below. Praise him above the heavenly host. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. In this letter, I want to share Isaiah 55, 1 and 5. Come all you who are thirsty, come to the waters, and you who have no money, come buy and eat. Come buy wine and milk without money and without cost. The children of Israel were in exile in a foreign country because of their disobedience to God. God had summoned the children of Israel to return home, to come and drink wine and milk and eat without money, because God wanted his children to be restored, refreshed, and endowed with his love. God wanted a covenant relationship with his people, and to show them how much he loved them, he gave the children of Israel an invitation to be refreshed. That's good. We need refreshing daily. Water represents spiritual refreshment, like Christ's invitation to drink the water of life. John 7:37 says, if anyone is thirsty, let him come to me and drink. Whoever believes in me, as the scripture has said, streams of living water will flow from within him, like water in Isaiah 55, 1 and 5. Wine and milk symbolizes abundance, enjoyment, and nourishment, even without money to buy food. This symbolism can be compared to a banquet of spiritual blessings, like David's exhortation to trust in God in Psalm 37:25. I was young and now I am old, yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging bread. Because of Israel's return home, God's word says, surely you will summon nations you know not, and nations that do not know you will hasten to you. Because of the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, for he has endowed you with splendor. Isaiah 55:5. Isaiah 4:2 says, in fruit of the land will be the pride and glory of the survivors of Israel. The nation will be restored physically and spiritually. God's salvation will be Israel's glory and splendor. Glory. Just as God gave David an everlasting covenant, he has given us an everlasting covenant through his Son, Jesus Christ. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only one and only Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. That's love. We should never be thirsty or without food or anything, because God has endowed us with splendor, spiritual refreshment, and abundance. Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Verse 3, he restores my soul. God always provides for us, always has a plan for us, and always watches over his children. God always cares about us. The only one of Israel, the Holy One of Israel, loves us through his Son, Jesus Christ, for he has endowed you with splendor. God has given us great spiritual blessings, for he has endowed you with splendor. You, my sister, will be like a nation of splendor because of what God has done for you. You are the light of the world, the salt of the earth. People will be near you and want to know what it is that keeps you at peace. and how you can be kind to a person who is so rude to you, or ask questions like how you can be spiritually refreshed when you are questioned about your faith. Yes, sisters, you are a nation the Holy One of Israel has endowed with splendor. Love you much, Minister Margaret Hart. And these are such beautiful words, and that is so right on time, because that's exactly what we're talking about. When you are restored through refreshment, being refreshed, rebooting your system, coming into the greater version of you, your greater design. This is our goal. That's love. Splendor of love. And so let's be in splendor. Let's be in love. And first we must be in that within self. This is Together We Rise with Akshita Veda L. Tonight's topic was the mastery of energy, to master your energy, to take control of your upgrade, to understand the body of manifestation, this physical body, the use of weapons through adversity, using emotional intelligence to master your energy, to become the greatest version of yourself. I am Akshita Veda L, the chosen daughter of the matriarch. I am Lunar Solar Prime 123 of the Messiah Code. I am the General. And I bid you a good night. Thank you all for coming. I have not been looking at any comments. I haven't seen anything. Let me see if I can see anything before I go. All right, sis. I'm talking to me, so we are reflections of we. Me is we, right? And that's love. So what we got? Shout out to my pops, yeah. Talking about healing from within, yes, Oracle Mother, yes. And you are so welcome. I love you. Yes, and yes, move your hips, Oracle Mother. There's nothing wrong with that. We have learned to only move our hips in privacy. Only when we're, being intimate with someone, and that's our life force. That's our energy that we are giving away. So instead of giving it away, why not use that energy to fulfill self? When we are not being sexually active, yes, energy can become stagnant within the body, and then we're not creating as much. We are creators. We are producers. We are the author of our stories. So if we're not using that energy to create, then it's stagnant energy that goes to waste. It's like hiding our gifts and our talents and not using them to better self. And when we're using our gifts and talents to better self, we're not bettering ourselves only for ourselves. We're bettering ourselves to be a Messiah, a leader. This is the pathway that I took to get here. This is how I got here. And I can show you the way. See, a lot of times people get half the information and they run with it. And then they start leading people astray, because now you just like you shooting at moving targets, and you haven't even learned how to steady your breathing yet. And if you know anything about weaponry and shooting a weapon, if your breath is out of sync, your shot is not going to be center mass. And we want to shoot center mass. We want to tear that center up. You know what I'm saying? We want to aim right for the dot. Right? Because when the enemy is coming at you, that's what they're aiming at, the dot. So yes, by all means, move your hips and don't be afraid to do that. You don't have to do it on the camera, but just move your hips. So I hope that tonight has brought some clarity to this series of going through the Messiah Code with me, you know, and together we rise. And so the initiative is to have boots on ground. You know, the more hands, the lighter the weight, right? The easier the load, the lighter the load. So we have a heavy load to carry, and I can't do it by myself. Neither can you do it by yourself. But if we come together and carry the load together, we can go much further. You know what I'm saying? And so that's boots on ground. And the rise of the matriarch. This is to remember. So thank you all.
Akshita Veda. You are now watching Together.
Y'all have a wonderful
We
night.
rise with the general. You are
Shout
now
out
watching Together.
to the Messiah
We
Code,
rise with the general. Akshita Veda.
the Walu tribe of Kum.
Ya Dawalu Kum. Ya Dawalu Kum. Ya Dawalu Kum. Ya Dawalu Kum. Ya Dawalu Kum.
Success, abundance, love, freedom, justice, empowerment, power, authority, leadership, poetry. Together we rise. Success, abundance, together we love, rise, freedom, justice, empowerment, power, authority, leadership, poetry. Together we rise. Success, abundance, love, freedom, justice, empowerment, power, authority, leadership, poetry. Together we rise. Success, abundance, love, together we freedom, rise, justice, empowerment, power, authority, leadership, poetry.